Innovation is absolutely central to our economic progress and our global competitiveness as a country. There is no dispute about that. But innovation is driven by innovators. So let's meet some innovators. Now, I'm someone who has come from an academic background. I was an associate professor at a university, and I led a medtech entity at one of those universities. So I do know something about innovation. Let's meet one of those innovators, Sebastian. Sebastian is 4 years following his postdoc, his PhD, and he's focused on developing a battery that does not rely on critical minerals. Now, Sebastian has just learned that his professor has been denied funding after 5 attempts at writing a grant. And this means that the professor is going to have to lay off staff, including Sebastian. As I speak to Sebastian, he's Googling job opportunities in the United States. Then we meet a woman with 2 children. Let's call her Michelle. Michelle did a PhD, she won lots of awards, and then once her children came, she really struggled to get back into that research pipeline. And this was despite writing numerous grants, middle of the night, weekends, after hours. Each grant would take 1 month to write. And she would hope that the reviewer looking at those grants would understand that being a working mother is not easy in the research space. Then, of course, we have Jim and Bruce, 2 entrepreneurs who have successfully got a startup which has a proven working prototype in wave energy. They've been given some funding by the government to take them to the next stage. However, they're now staring down the valley of death because business and venture capital investment in Australia has been declining and they just can't find takers. This is what it is like currently in Australia. So the coalition would have us believe that they have the answers. A new program, lots of money, throwing the word accelerator, trailblazer, pioneer, whatever you want to call it. The reality is that the coalition abandoned universities in their moment of need in the first couple of years of this pandemic. How much money did universities get from JobKeeper? They got nothing. And as a result, we saw the departure of 41,000 jobs from the sector. Those jobs disproportionately affected women. 61% of those jobs affected women. And this is already in a sector which has very low representation of women academics. Only less than a third of the academic workforce in universities in STEM are women. Women comprise 13% of employees in STEM-related occupations in Australia. If we look at the metrics coming out soon, I'm sure it'll be lower as a result of this action. So despite not funding universities, they still found $291 million to provide to a casino. We all know which casino that was. So no money for universities, but plenty of money for gambling. We then saw them also wave away the international students. They actually said to them, go home. That's what the former Prime Minister said, go home. Not only was that callous, it also sounded a little bit racist, to be honest, and it was an absolute violation of the values that we hold dear as Australians, of common decency and care. In terms of the Global Innovation Index, this is a benchmark international ranking system which has shown that Australia ranks 25 out of 132 countries. Under the coalition, we have dropped another 6 spots, 5 under the Morrison government. Business investment in Australia has been declining, and that has really fallen in parallel with the decline of our manufacturing sector. And in terms of our ranking in the OECD for business collaboration with the industry, you can see that we're actually right there, right at the bottom. So we have a real issue in this country. We do absolutely want to increase business collaboration between industry and higher education. And we can look through the Global Innovation Index for answers because it shows us that there are actually 81 indicators that feed into a multifaceted program that boosts innovation. Things like human capital, focusing on education in the early years, focusing on childcare so that women can go back to work, focusing on improving the competency of maths, reading and science in our 15-year-olds, looking at how we can access better skilled workers in the knowledge industry and how we can actually take those ideas and then diffuse them through the system. So innovation is a lot more complex, it is multifaceted, and that is why we as a government are taking a multifaceted approach to actually boosting innovation. We are investing in the early years. We are investing in our teachers with a national action plan that will be delivered by the end of this year. And we're also setting up a university accord. This is how you tackle a complex problem with complex, multifaceted solutions.